There are desperate and unusual times, and our customers are in desperate situations. We are here to serve. We are their connection, and to them, that's priceless. We are that special human touch. When people feel hopeless, sometimes that's all they need, the human touch.
The sounds of that storm, I've heard sounds that I've never heard in my life, and it was like low growls. It's something right out of a horror movie. This storm was like no other storm that I had remembered.
We were totally cut off from the outside world.
We found this whole neighborhood just destroyed. It was just a flat slab.
Now, there are times that I just want to break down and cry, and you have to do that.
It took us 2 moving trucks to move in and a laundry basket to get out. There's nothing remaining except broken sticks where trees and homes used to be.
This is the worst I've ever seen it. You know, nothing come close.
The mood was sort of get back to work. One of the employees actually said, I need some normalcy. I just need to plug in and take calls, and I think I'll feel better.
There was no 911 when Katrina was going on that they could call. It was just so mentally and so, emotionally pulling on you. There would be calls that you would just try so hard not to cry because you can't help these people.
I stayed in the attic for about 3 days before I started trying to get out.
Katrina, there are no words to describe what we heard on the phones. People were begging you, or begging us, to help them in any way we could. And it was like they were either dying or there was death around them.
I did receive a call from a lady on a rooftop who was holding on to a woman who had just come home from the hospital with a newborn baby, and a man who was going into a diabetic coma, and was asking me to tell her which one she needed to let go of. And I couldn't make that call.
But they were just really troopers about it, because they would go, they'd have their little cry, they would share their story with their coworkers, and then they would come back and they'd plug in and they'd take the next one, because they knew that if they weren't there taking that call, that it could be that that customer would not reach anyone, and they knew how important that was.
First thing we did was we tried a rescue effort to try to rescue and assist as many of BellSouth employees, such as the family concept that we have, and make sure that they're safe, make sure everybody's accounted for, and those that were in distress, and we had quite a few of them that were in distress, put forth some type of effort to try to get them to safety.
As soon as the water came in, we got a jet ski and we started going to get people from their houses in the neighborhood. And we rescued, I don't know how many we rescued, but we wound up with about a total of 60 civilians at the building. They was using a jail as a makeshift hospital also. No air conditioning, no running water. People were dying all over the place. It was about 110 degrees inside the building. They hadn't slept for a few days. So I got with the doctors and I invited them, and we started housing them and letting them come in shifts and sleep at the phone company building, since we had lights, electric, and food and water to drink. We called it the BellSouth Hilton.
It was the Friday after the storm when I came back with a convoy from Baton Rouge. we put the flag back up with the help of 2 Sabre team members, Jim and Barrett. It was a natural reflex because we had taken it down before the storm, and so it was a natural reflex when we came back, and it was in my office to put it back up. I love that story because I love the flag.
Hello, I'm Bibby King, and I am the mayor of the Baton Rouge tent city. Since we've opened up, we've had 422 employees come through. We've also served 880 people. We're sleeping approximately 120 people per night in our residential tents. We have a supply tent. We are getting a lot of supplies in for our employees. The folks have lost everything. This is a very emotional area. Things are getting better here every day, but you can walk around and you can see the devastation on the people's faces.
The skies cleared, then you saw the BellSouth disaster recovery trucks coming in. They brought food, they brought water, they brought portalettes, which was very important with no water in the city, and they just met every need.
It's not home, but after a couple of days, we started calling it home.
I'm very proud of BellSouth. Everyone that I've talked to people with CLECO and other power companies. Nobody does what BellSouth does for taking care of not only the employees to get to work, but the families and the level of comfort that we try to provide for people and the level of support. I haven't heard of any company that does this amount. It makes me very proud of BellSouth.
Not many companies, I don't think, would do. I just wish you could have been here during the week to see. You know, it's just whatever they needed, we try to accommodate. I don't often say, I don't often get that emotional about my job, but very, very proud.
It's wonderful. A lot of the help has come from the pioneers. Not only the money, but a lot of the community service as well. So a lot of the supplies were donated through the pioneers, and it's been a big help.
What we're running here is our BellSouth Business Center. And what it is we want the Gulfport customers to have a single point of contact to come in and speak to us face to face so we can handle their concerns that have to do with the storm and telecommunications, any type of telecommunications needs. As you'll see around, we have 3 different representatives able to speak to our business customers on a one-on-one. Anything they need about their telecommunications. We have phone sets here for those that lost their phone sets. We have DSL modems for those that need the modems, as well as internet access.
I've always known that BellSouth is a fantastic company to work for, but in a crisis like this, to see the extraordinary lengths that the company will go to, that the people within the company will go to in terms of volunteering their time.
So we feel that we have a healthy employee, we can have a healthy business, and we have a healthy business, both mind and spirit. This company can move on.
To ride the neighborhoods now, it's just unbelievable. It's like every night when I go to sleep, when I wake up, I hope I wake up and it was really just a bad dream, but come back, I'm right back in the same dream again.
This is a portable slick unit, and what we're going to do with this unit here is we're going to feed it with a piece of fiber from our main office and temporarily feed the government complex building, and we're going to be getting up the 911 service by tomorrow or Saturday.
This is a disaster recovery center. Telephone needs here are to make sure that this disaster recovery center has some kind of interoperability with other agencies, as well as has the ability to take care of all the customer requirements with the applicants. So if it means having internet access, be able to fill out a claim or do an inquiry, that's pretty much essentially what Bob is assisting us with.
This is the first unit we have in. We had problems getting here. This place had been underwater, had 7 to 8 feet of water here, and then it reflooded when Rita came in.
When we first sent our call out for volunteers, we had an overwhelming response from BellSouth, as you would expect. I think we had over 600 folks that said, hey, just tell me when I need to be there and I will be there.
The first few calls were mainly looking for people and finding their spouses or employees that were calling in. The first few days were very difficult, I think, handling the calls and hearing the people crying but it made me feel good as an employee of BellSouth to be able to help.
And by the time we, completed the project, we had located everyone, and so
it just made me feel good to be a part of the company.
Guys have done an outstanding job. About 50% of them lost everything they have, homes, cars, clothing, everything, relocated their families, but they come to work every day, ready to go to work to restore service to our customers. It's just sometimes overwhelming to see how they persist every day to restore service when you know that their lives have been torn apart.
I mean, it probably destroyed 70 to 80%, just my estimation of everything we have down here on the coast, all of our plant facilities. And it's going to be a long, drawn-out process to rebuild everything.
Right now, it's just a matter of getting them service for 2 days, 3 days. You know, get them something they can call their families, touch base with everybody, let them know they're okay.
It's a little bit different, you know, trying to restore people's homes. You do the best that you can with what you have. You know, some of these people just now getting their power turned on, and they're elated when they see us coming. They said, we didn't expect us, you know, for several weeks yet, and here we are helping them out. You know.
We are trying to restore service as quickly as possible to as many customers as possible. And it's very difficult in those areas, and in the areas where we have total destruction, we're putting fiber and slicks on wheels to get service back to the parish, to the police, to the fire departments. And it's a difficult task because of the whole network being destroyed. It really is.
Every manhole in New Orleans, every manhole has water in it. Just cutting out the splices is very unusual. We never would do that. We try to repair them.
Most of the guys that work for me, they've lost everything just like I have. And they're here at work every single day. We're going out, we're doing our jobs, and we're trying to restore people. You know, we're trying to restore service to the people the best we can.
Customers are very appreciative. They're happy when you give them an explanation as to what is happening, the areas that we're covering, the areas that are down, and the areas that we're working on to get back up. They're really pleased with what we're doing and how BellSouth is representing the whole area. So they're happy with it.
And these wonderful BellSouth people came out, gave us phones. Some linemen cut it working on other things, and the next thing we knew, BellSouth's back out because we flagged them down, and they're trying to get the whole block going again. And we can't thank them enough, because without phones and a 93-year-old father, it's very hard. Thank y'all for everything.
I was at the pole yesterday, and a lady just rides by and stops and throws her thumb up and says, "You guys are awesome," and pulls away. It's kind of heartfelt, yeah. Feels good.
We've had, you know, the reaction from people in the stores, you know, at the medical facilities when they hear BellSouth. They're aware of what we're doing, and I mean, they're doing things like not charging our employees co-payments at the doctor's office, for instance, because they know, you know, BellSouth is here, and they respond to the BellSouth name.
We're removing cable from the central office vault that has been destroyed due to the flooding, where the pressure was lost in the cable and the cable was destroyed. So we're recovering that cable, and we'll put fiber back in its place. Unprecedented in my career. From here, it'll all go to Pelham, Alabama, where we have a granulation facility where the copper will be granulated and sold.
We're finding a lot of boxes and network interfaces that are corroded. A lot of service wires that are blown down. If they're not blown down, the poles are broken. So, you know, we have a magnitude of different things that we have to work with each day to try and get these residents back in service. We get a lot of thank yous every day for being here. People are welcoming and embracing us. We're actually getting a lot of win-back customers too. They see a presence of BellSouth here. They're asking us, how can they get service with BellSouth?
People are going to pull together and rebuild. We're going to have fun again.
We are, you know, strong, and we are strong people here, and we are a family, and we're going to take care of each other.
I'm grateful that I work for a company that cares more about their people in a time of tragedy than most companies do.
The spirit of this area is, you know, we can come back from this. And nobody's saying we can't. At least the people here aren't saying we can't. You know, we know we can.
The people of BellSouth, like I said, have always, in my 28 years, have been there to stand beside you. Not only for BellSouth people, but for other people that are in need.
We are that special human touch. When people feel hopeless, sometimes that's all they need, the human touch.